If I hadn't torn the lock off that gate with my pickup truck, our entire town might have gone up in flames. That thought still rattles around in my head, especially now, as I stand here watching a fire truck refill its tank from the emergency water valve buried just inside my property line. The very one Lisa tried to claim as hers. The same one she padlocked shut because, get this, your gate ruins the neighborhood's aesthetic flow. I wish I were making this up, but no, Lisa's HOA tyranny spiraled into a statewide crisis in less than a day. And it all began with a cheap padlock, a flimsy lawn chair, and one woman's unshakable need to meddle. It was a typical Monday morning. Birds were singing, coffee was brewing, and my dog, Scout, was sniffing along the fence like he was on border patrol. I was midway through patching up the chicken coop when I spotted her, Lisa, striding down the gravel road with the determination of a general. She had on those giant sunglasses that make people look like cartoon bad guys and clutched a clipboard like it was a sacred relic. I didn't pay it much mind until she headed straight for my gate. She stopped, glanced around, pulled something shiny from her bag, and before I could yell, she snapped a padlock on my gate and marched off like she'd just conquered new territory. I jogged over, dust kicking up from my boots, trying to keep cool. "Hey, did you just lock my gate?" I called. She didn't even turn. Yes, I did. Per HOA Rule 14b, no unapproved front-facing structures can stay unlocked. "Lisa," I said, already wishing I'd kept my mouth shut, "this isn't some decorative arch. It's a private access gate on my land." She gave me a smile like I just denied ROI tie. "That's your opinion, but it's VY Cybele from the community trail. It's hideous. I've filed several complaints and took the initiative to secure it myself." I stared dumbfounded. "You filed complaints about my gate?" She nodded, smug as a kid who'd aced a pop quiz. 3, all ignored, so I stepped in. I could have ripped the lock off right then, bolt cutters, my ATV, whatever, but I didn't. Not because I feared Lisash's got the muscle of a twig and the legal clout of a garden statue, but because I knew what lay under the gravel behind that gate. 10 feet down, beneath a metal hatch, was the emergency valve for the town's backup water supply, installed after the 2017 flood trashed our main system. And who helped design and build it? Me. I glanced at the lock, then at Lisa, who was now tapping away on her phone. "I've noted your non-compliance," she chirped, oblivious that she just barricaded the fire department's go-to access point during fire season. But she wasn't done. She unfolded a lawn chair, planted it on her side of the line, and sat there for hours, sipping kombucha and scowling at anyone who came near, including the FedEx guy, whom she tried to reroute to a non-existent back entrance. I watched from my porch, stunned. By dusk, the temperature hit 103 degrees Fahrenheit, and fire warnings flashed on the news. I considered alerting the fire department about the gate but figured Lisa would lose interest by morning. I was wrong. That night, lightning hit a ridge 4 miles east. Dry brush ignited like it was soaked in fuel. I saw the orange glow from my window before the smoke hit. Within half an hour, sirens wailed. Fire trucks barreled down the trail straight for my gate. I yanked on my boots and ran out, hoping someone had bolt cutters. Nope. Lisa was still there, now in a bathrobe, sipping wine like she was at a resort. A firefighter leapt out. "We need the valve now." Lisa didn't budge. "This is private property. I can't allow access without HOA approval." I blinked. The firefighter blinked. "Ma'am," he said, straining for calm, "that valve's an emergency asset. You're blocking state response." She waved him off. "Then show me paperwork." I didn't wait. I ran to my shed, grabbed a chain, hooked it to the lock, tied it to my truck, and gunned it. The lock snapped with a glorious crack, and the gate swung open. Lisa shrieked about lawsuits, but no one listened. A firefighter tossed her a warning flyer and told her to sit tight. The fire was contained in hours, thanks to the valve, though one house in the hills burned before they could reach it. The next day, I gave a statement to some very stressed county officials. Lisa vanished, but her lock? I hung it on my porch with a sign, "Caution, may spark wildfires." That was just the start. Once the town learned who locked the gate and why, it was like watching dominoes fall. Lisa had stacked herself. The morning after the fire, the town felt shell-shocked. Smoke lingered, and the air stank of charred earth. I expected a few nods at the diner, maybe a thanks from the fire crew. Instead, I walked into Rosie's Cafe, and the place went silent. Every eye locked on me. "You the gate guy?" someone yelled. I nodded, still processing. Yeah, didn't think a padlock would turn into a soap opera. An older woman near the counter folded her arms. It wouldn't have if that woman hadn't locked our emergency water supply. My sister's place almost went up. Rosie leaned over. Lisa filed a complaint against you today. Said you damaged HOA property breaking that lock. Sheriff trashed it, but heads up. That got laughs. A guy in overalls whispered she's calling herself waterfront manager. Told my kid her sandbox VYOLAT code. I sat more entertained than mad. She's been busy, huh? Busy was an understatement. Over coffee, I learned Lisa had been on emission citations for overgrown shrubs, unapproved deck chairs, even a kid's swing set she deemed tacky. Folks were fed up, but too scared to fight until the fire flipped the script. By noon, word spread. The town council called an emergency meeting. Councilman Peters rang me himself. You know that gate's purpose. We need you to clear the air before Lisa spins it with glitter and guilt trips. So I went, blueprints and contracts from 2017 in hand. The room was packed, people on the floor in the halls. Lisa sat up front, crisp in a white suit, clipboard ready. Mayor Grayson kicked off. What happened at Gate E17 during the fire? I unrolled the blueprint. It's not just a gate. It's the only path to the Ridgeview Reserve Valve, part of the town's emergency plan, linked to fire department GPS. Lisa's hand shot up. I thought it was private property. It should follow HOA aesthetic rules. The mayor sighed. Mrs. Harper, let Mr. Dawson finish. I turned to her. It is my property. And it's a federally designated emergency corridor trumping HOA rules. Gasp spread. Someone muttered. Federal. Lisa didn't flinch. That wasn't clear to homeowners. As waterfront manager, I acted for safety and harmony. Peters cut in. Harmony? Fire crews drove 17 miles around a mountain. A house burned. That's harmony. Lisa pursed her lips. No one told me about emergency plans. Maybe the town failed to communicate. I dropped the bomb. The county notified the HOA in 2018. Emails show the board signed off on unobstructed access. I've got proof. I handed it over. Lisa paled, craning to see. It got worse. I showed a 2021 report. The valve was upgraded with federal funds, making it a Homeland Security asset. Blocking it? Possible felony. Lisa tried to interrupt, but the mayor shut her down. Enough. This wasn't ignorancy, it was reckless. We'll review YEW liability and HOA accountability. The crowd cheered. Lisa packed her clipboard and stormed out. I thought that was it. I was wrong. Next day, my porch had a notice. DULA 800 fine from the HOA for demolishing HOA hardware and vehicular misuse. They'd fine me for SAVYing the town. Lisa hadn't just launched a paper war. My mailbox soon overflowed with HOA threats, fines, cease and desists, a summons to an emergency conduct panel. She'd hijacked the board, stacking it with allies or cowards. I called my pal Ryan, a paralegal who owed me for a cabin plumbing job. Let me guess, he said. Lisa. I dumped the files on his desk. He flipped through, grinning. She's citing 1980s HOA code half's obsolete. This easement from 2017? It's ironclad. Perpetual access, no obstruction. And your gate's FEMA funded, a federal asset. She's in deep. We filed with the county and regional authorities. The fire marshal called that night. This is state level now. Obstruction during an emergency. Could be criminal. Then Lisa showed up at my door, no clipboard, just folders and a smirk. We need to discuss your BHVY or. I leaned on the frame. You're under investigation by 3 agencies. I've got your emails bragging about the lock. Her eyes flickered. She tossed a folder at me. Your HOA hearing summons. Skip it and fines escalate. I laughed. Good timing gets the day you get served. I shut the door. Next morning, county officials hit Lisa's place with papers. Her stunned face was gold. But 2 hours later, an HOA email claimed they'd suspend the easement pending legal review. YEW. She was doubling down. I called Ryan. Oh hell no, he said. We didn't fight alone, the county and state were already on it, escalating to emergency management. Then the news vans rolled in. Someone leaked Lisa's emails. Headlines blared. HOA head locks emergency access and fire. Memes exploded. Lisa's face on a castle gate, her chair ablaze. She went live, wine in hand, claiming VY Timhood. It backfired. A petition to oust her hit 200 signatures fast. The fire marshal's press conference sealed it. Obstruction of ridge view valve breached state protocols. Full investigation underway. The HOA backpedaled, dropping their suspension. I pushed a bylaw vote to remove Lisa, citing a rule barring obstructors from leadership. Passed overwhelmingly. She walked away from the HOA office, clipboard dangling, looking lost. Part of me pitied her briefly. The gate got a smart lock, fire access assured. No more Lisa, no more chaos, just a scratch from her padlock, a quiet reminder of how close we came.